So I'm out here at Fort Lauderdale Beach today, and something that happened today has reminded me about a video I've been wanting to make for a while. And it's why this camera right here, the DJI Action 5 Pro, and really action cameras in general, have been my most used cameras hour-wise over the past few years. And it's because, as you can see, I actually use it on my helmet cam for when I go biking. I got my bike right here, and let's get on this bike ride, and I'll talk a little bit more about why I use this as my main camera, because it's probably not exactly why you think it's gonna be. So when I first moved to Fort Lauderdale in 2021, one of the first things I did was buy an e-bike, and it was a really small, not the best one, but it did the job, and it cost me under $250. So I was able to get around the city really easily from my home in the middle of downtown to all the way down here at the beach, which is around 5 miles from my place. And having an e-bike let me learn Fort Lauderdale a lot more. And it also helped me create videos for this channel, especially being able to bike to a lot of places and stay at a lot of places that the parking costs are just ridiculous. And I get out and I get some activity because I get the kind of e-bikes that force you to pedal. So even right now, I'm not using any of the electronic abilities on this e-bike. I am using full-on pedaling. And it's great. It's great to be able to have them out here. But starting with that original e-bike, it was so small that a lot of the times I would have people mess with me on the bike. And I really didn't get why, other than the fact that it was probably comically small. But people were messing with me quite a lot, yelling from their cars, mostly kids, to be honest with you. It wasn't really adults that ever really did this. But after about a year of just having people yell stuff, say do stupid stuff, make stupid actions, I decided to start carrying this action cam on my helmet like you see here. It's been the same mount on this helmet since 2021. Now, wearing this on my helmet did two things. Not only does it basically become a security camera for any time I want to go out and just bike around town, but it also forces me to wear a helmet, which you need to, especially if you're gonna go out on an e-bike down here in downtown Fort Lauderdale. You should be wearing a helmet, especially at these speeds, but no matter what kind of bike, you should be wearing a helmet. So having the GoPro/Action 5, I know GoPro's become the Band-Aid term for these action cameras, but having action cameras in general have really ended up saving me from a lot of really weird situations over the past few years. You know, at first, like I said, I thought it was because of the weird bike, and I started having issues with people on this normal bike too. So it just seems, because we're in a party city where a lot of people like to go and have a fun time, people do stupid stuff. So the action cameras became a form of security camera. Now what's interesting is when I go back and look at certain videos when I had a feeling something was about to go down, you could sometimes see someone pops their head out of the car and they're about to say something stupid, and then they notice that I got the camera on my head, or they're about to start honking at me like crazy because I'm in the bike lane, but the bike lane maybe shares a lane with the normal lane. They don't know that, and they start going crazy on me. Then I turn around, they see I have an actual camera on my helmet. It's been an 100% success rate of them stopping going crazy, 100%. And ever since I had that happen a few times, now I don't leave the apartment without this action cam on my head. I've even actually had conversations where people stop me and they've asked me, hey, you know, do you just have this camera on your head to record your rides? And initially, that's why I bought it, more for that and having fun in the water. I bought it to record my rides, but I'd say 95% of the footage I take on this thing when I'm out here on my ride, I don't use. But occasionally, there'll be an interesting clip or two that I go and I save. But for the most part, I put the most hours on this camera because it is probably the best security camera I have ever owned, especially because it's on me. It's my personal experience. So I'm back here on Las Olas at Fort Lauderdale Beach a day later, and of course, on my way home yesterday, I had the perfect example of why I wear a helmet cam pretty much at all times. Some guy just kept honking at me on a single road that is shared with bikes nonstop, and then as he passed by me to cause trouble, all I did was tap on my camera on top of me, and he immediately went away because he had no clue from behind that I had a camera on me, so just stop bothering me. But I want to talk about the recording settings I use when I'm in these kinds of situations and what kind of card I'm using. So I record actually in 4K. I don't do 1080. I think most people who would use this in a security camera situation would use 1080. However, for my purposes, I want to use 4K because on the off chance that I happen to want to use the footage for something down the line, I can, and I can have it in good quality. I film it in 10-bit log video, so I can color grade it and do some stuff with the image more than it just being for security uses. Although that's, again, mainly what I use this thing for. Just so you guys can see, this is the actual SD card I use. I know, a little bit worn out. And I used that card because 512 tended to be a little bit more than I needed, especially because I film on the standard bit rate when I'm out here using this as a security camera. And I film in the high bit rate mode when I'm doing underwater shots, or I know that the images are going to be more crucial and I'm definitely going to use them in the future. So as I was editing this video, I realized I never explained why I chose the DJI Action 5 Pro as the main camera I use on my helmet, because obviously there's cameras like GoPro, and I've used GoPro before, but there's one really huge reason, and it has to do with audio. This is the DJI Mic Mini, and this is an audio transmitter, and the microphone's actually built into this little thing, so you literally just magnetically put it onto your shirt, or you can clip it if you need to clip it, like I have right here, and it works. It actually doesn't need anything to hook up to this DJI Action Cam. It wirelessly syncs to this Action Cam, not over Bluetooth, because although the GoPro uses Bluetooth, the audio becomes cell phone quality, not that great. This is professional quality audio that pairs directly to the DJI Action 5 Pro. It also works with my Osmo Pocket 3, so it works really well with DJI products, and it just pairs right to it. So these are the only two things you need, and so this is probably the main reason I got the DJI Action 5 Pro, because you can't get that with any of the competitors. And I used to use the DJI Mic 2, which did the same thing. You could just buy one of the DJI Mic 2s and it would wirelessly go to this. But the DJI Mic 2s are a little bit more professional for professional work because you can use lavalier mics. This, if you're just going to use the little transmitter like I was with the DJI Mic 2s, these are less than half the size and they're relatively affordable. They're like 60, 70 bucks on Amazon. So really easy to get really clean audio while you're doing your vlogging or biking, whatever you may do, because I think a lot of you out there may use this for other purposes than just putting it on your helmet cam like I do, and it's nice to have really professional audio. So that's the biggest reason. The second reason is going to be 10-bit video in 4K, 24, 30, and 60. The newest GoPros do that as well, but at the time when I was getting these, the GoPro didn't have log video. They just had 10-bit, not log. And you want log video because having log video, if you're going to color grade your video after the fact, gives you the most latitude. It will give you the best images if you can color grade them in post instead of getting a picture straight out of the camera. I know that's a little advanced for an action camera that sits on your helmet, but some of you may be into video, so that's another reason why I did it. And then the third, which the newest GoPros now do as well, again, didn't at the time, is the magnetic clamping. Boom, it is on my helmet now, and I just hit these two tabs and it's off. So you don't have to do the whole, screw it into the helmet every single time like with the traditional GoPro clamps. GoPro has fixed that in the most recent version of the GoPro, but in the older GoPros it didn't have that, and all the DJI products have that. So that is why I would choose this camera, and I'll put a link to everything I discussed in the description below. So 256 gigabytes gives me 9+ hours in 4K 24 frames per second in 10-bit log video in the standard mode on this camera. When I put it in the high bit rate mode, I get a little bit over 4 hours on that card, so you could still use it for your bike rides. But as you can imagine, I go for around 8, sometimes 9 rides before I need to clear this card off, which is a good and a bad thing. So overall, if you're into biking and you're filming and biking in areas like Fort Lauderdale, I would highly recommend wearing a helmet cam with you at all times. It's gonna save you from a lot of problems, and you also never know what you're gonna capture while you're on the road. If you have any questions or anything you want me to go over, let me know in the comments below. And if you got knowledge and value out of today's video, please make sure to hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell to keep up to date with the latest videos from the channel. And until next time, my name is Chef Fagien. Thank you for joining me as always, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.